Hey everyone, my name's Richardson and I'm going to be presenting on data analysis. Alright class, so today we're going to be reviewing data and different ways that we can represent data. First, I would like someone to volunteer and answer, what is data? Good job! Data is facts and statistics that we collect together for reference or analysis of that information. So we have two different types of data. We have categorical data and numerical data. So categorical data is the first one that we're going to be using and representing on different charts and graphs. This is the numbers that are collected into groups or categories. You can remember this by categorical is categories. The next we have is numerical data. This is the measurable data, which means that you can get an average from the data, or you can order the data in ascending or descending order. Now we're going to review different charts and graphs and different plots that we're able to represent different types of data. Can anyone answer me what kind of graph are we looking at now? Johnny? Good job, Johnny. This is a bar graph because it shows the data sets with varying heights. Here you can see that on the first bar graph that we have on the left-hand side, this one is representing the number of people and the different fruits that these people enjoy. The bar graph on the right-hand side is representing the same data, but you can see that this one is horizontal. You can put the categories on either side of the bar graph. So on the left one, you can see that the bars are representing the apple is the favorite fruit of 35 people. The banana is the favorite fruit of 10 people. Then we have blueberries, which are the favorite fruit of 40 people. That's just a quick overview of the bar graph. Can anybody answer what type of table this is? Jessica? You're correct, Jessica. This is a frequency table because it represents different values and how often those values occur. This specific frequency table is showing the number of bathrooms in someone's household. So here we have, the first is one bathroom, which 30 people had. 21 people had 2 bathrooms, 5 people had 3, 7 people had 4, and 3 people had 5 or more bathrooms. This is the next graph that we're going to be reviewing today. Can anybody answer what type of graph this is? Elizabeth. Thank you for answering, Elizabeth. You're on the right track because there are dots in this graph. But this graph is called a scatter plot because it represents the relationship between the two sets of data by graphing points. The next slide that I have to show you is a dot plot, and you'll be able to see the difference. But first, here on this scatter plot, it is representing the number of peaches that were sold and the price. So you can see that as the price decreased, the number of peaches that were sold decreased as well. Here is the next graph. So can anyone tell me what the difference about this graph is from the scatter plot? I'm going to go back and show the scatter plot once more. Here is the scatter plot, and this is the graph that I want us to see if we can tell the difference. Eric? Yes, great answer, Eric. This is a dot plot, and it's representing only one set of data now. This next graph, can anyone answer what it is? Jason? Fantastic job, Jason. This is a stem and leaf plot because it's breaking the numerical data into a stem and a leaf. Here you can see that this one is representing the heart rate, which is the beats per minute in 21 different students. The one that's highlighted is a stem of 7 and a leaf of 4, which means 74. Now, class, we're going to work on representing data as a class. I will be showing you some different graphs, and we're going to be working together to complete them based off different sets of data. All right, class, so if you remember on your last homework assignment, there was a little survey. The first question was about your favorite color. So we're going to use the information that you guys shared with me to go ahead and make a bar graph with y'all's favorite colors. So you'll see on this bar graph that I've started creating that we have favorite colors here at the title. On the y-axis, I've already written students, and then here on the x-axis, I've written the favorite colors that you had to choose from. The first was red. There were 5 students in our classroom whose favorite color was red. So we'll go up the bar graph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The next color was blue. There was 3 students. So we'll go up to 1, 2, 3. 3 students' favorite color was blue. The next favorite color was green. There were 4 students whose favorite color was green. We'll go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go ahead and mark that off for green. The next color was yellow. There was only one of you whose favorite color was yellow, so we'll only go up to 1 here on this bar. And the last color y'all had to choose from was purple. So there was only 4 of y'all whose favorite color was purple. So we'll go ahead, and we know that green is already at 4, so we can go and make sure that the height of our purple bar is the same as the green bar to represent 4 students. Okay. The other question that was on y'all's survey was about how many pets you have in your home. So we're now going to make a frequency table that represents how many pets we all have. So here on the frequency table that I've made, we're going to see that on the left-hand side of a frequency table, it represents the value. So our value is going to be the pets. So we're going to represent how many pets we all have here on the frequency table. For the frequency, that's going to be the amount of students in our classroom who have the amount of pets here represented on the left-hand side of our frequency table. So there were 2 students who had 0 pets. We're going to write 2 here to represent the frequency of 0 students having pets, or 2 students having 0 pets. The next was how many of y'all had 1, which there were 3 students who had 1 pet. The next thing on our frequency table is going to be how many students had 2 pets. That was 6 of you. Then the next is how many students had 3 pets, which was 4 students had 3 pets. The next is going to be how many students had 4 pets, which was 2. Then in a frequency table, if there's anything listed here on the value that has 0, if a 5 was here and there was 0 students who had 5 pets, we could go ahead and write a 0 here. Now we're going to create a dot plot. The data that we're going to be using for our dot plot is about our soccer team. They had 6 games this season, and we're going to represent the number of goals that our team scored at each game throughout the season. So here is our dot plot. Here at the bottom is going to say number of goals scored. So in game 1, there was 3 goals scored. So we're going to go ahead and put a dot here on 3 goals scored at a game. Then at game 2, there was 0 goals scored. We'll go ahead and represent that game with a dot on the 0 for the number of goals scored at that game. Game 3, there was 2. We'll make a dot for that game to represent that there was 2 goals scored at game 3. At game 4, there was 1 goal. Game 5, there was 4 goals. And then at game 6, there was also 4 goals scored at the game. Here on our dot plot, we can see that a total amount of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games because there is 6 dots in our dot plot. The last thing that we're going to be working on today is making a stem and leaf plot. So I went ahead and started by creating the plot. There is the stem here on the left side. The numbers that we're going to be using is going to be the lengths of 6 different pieces of ropes, and that's going to be represented on our stem leaf plot. This one we're going to be using decimals. So we had to create a key, which here you'll see the key is for the stem is if the stem is 3 and the leaf is 2, that's equal to 3.2 feet. So we know that here on our stem leaf plot that this line is representing the decimal. So we're going to go through the 6 different rope sizes. So the first one is going to be 6.3. So for 6.3, we're going to put the 3 from that number and add it down here by the 6, which helps us see that there is one rope that is 6.3 feet long. The next is 3.6. We're going to go ahead and put that next to the 3 to represent 3.6 feet. Next, we have 4.3. This will be represented by placing the 3 next to the 4 to represent 4.3 feet. We have 2.7, which will be placed next to the 2 on the stem leaf plot to represent 2.7. Next, we have a rope that was 4 feet long, 4.0. That 0 is going to be placed in the same section with the 3, but we're going to put it closer to the decimal so that we place our leaves in ascending order. So we have 4.0 feet, and then we're going to have 4.3 feet. Last but not least, we have 2.1. We're going to have to do the same thing on the 2, for the 2 feet as we did on the 4. We're going to move over the 7, then we're going to put the 1 so that they're in ascending order, and now we have 2.1 feet. This is going to be how you represent data on a stem leaf plot.